members be much more involved. It really brings home the fact that Nigerians are extremely passionate about defending their human rights. They recognize that they have a responsibility based on the fact that they're human beings like everybody else, created in God's image. They have a responsibility to ensure that they protect their human rights. They also recognize that it's a responsibility because if one person's human rights are trampled upon, you're the next in line.
Yes.
And if you don't speak up, it's going to happen, and it gets worse. And that's what we've seen in Nigeria. And so I'm so glad, it's so excellent to see it's a whole mix as well. Young people, older people. We even have a baby in the room, so like that's our amnesty, with our mom. But just seeing people really take ownership and say, we're not going to take this abuses. It's not right. So it's been an incredible journey in that way. Of course, there's also the journey of making sure that we are doing everything right. Of course, we have our constitution, we have our bylaws, and the fact that there's transparency, there's accountability. So, of course, in some of the sessions, you've seen some of the questions that have come up, some of the thoughts that people have put forward. Nobody's telling anybody, oh, you can't talk here, you can't talk there.
Everyone's equal.
Everybody's equal, and that's what human rights is about. We're all valuable, we're all equal in that sense. And that's one of the things that we see in Africa and we see in Nigeria, that some parts of the people, some of the leadership, they forget that they're humans like everybody else. They think they're more human than others. As you see, Amnesty Ghana, Sierra Leone, who was the other person? There was Ghana, Sierra Leone. Yes, but I'm even talking about the African.
I think Tito.
Kenya too is in the room. So Anglophone, yes, and of course we have our Francophone brothers, and Senegal, they're in the room. And that just tells us that as Africa we are one, we have to bind together because our issues are very similar. We have the same issues around human rights abuses, trampling from north to south to west to east. And what we don't even understand is our leaders that forget that they're human like everybody else. They also get in the room. They're busy comparing tactics. So they're busy learning from each other. Not always the best thing. They're learning how to oppress others. So you see their tactics are usually the same, very boring, or very the same, but having very devastating consequences. The fact that we've been calling attention to several issues and not just about painting the government's bad light. And again, that just goes to show how much the Nigerian government, I'll speak about the Nigerian government now, have used propaganda as a tool, and they've tried to mess up the minds of the citizens, right? Because anyone who says, oh, amnesty is just whatever, it's either they don't know what human rights are, or they are living in absolute denial, or they have Stockholm syndrome. The fact that at night you go out and policemen are shining torchlights in your face and collecting money from you as a citizen, or they can arbitrarily detain you, and the number of people we have in prison who they are awaiting trial. Some of them have been there for years. A minister told me recently, went to Kirikiri or one of the Ikoyi prison, I cannot remember. And the capacity of that prison is 800 inmates, right? They had about 3,000. Of those 3,000, so imagine, some of them have children in them. Imagine, of those 3,000, about over 60% of them were not even convicted criminals. They were awaiting trial. So, if any Nigerian, right? We all know someone that's sort of famous.
Yes.
If any Nigerian has not experienced that, or is saying amnesty's push for human rights, it's just to make people either they don't understand the purpose of government, or they don't understand what human rights is all about, or they are living in the bubble.
I think it's all of the above.
Sadly. We're here to wake them up. We're all Nigerians, we're all citizens. And that's why we have a point about human rights education as well. There's this erroneous idea that human rights is a Western concept.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so when people are standing for their human rights,
It's foreign to them.
that is absolutely false. Africans, from inception, we've always been in the forefront of fighting for these things, even the pre-colonial era. And in the colonial era, led a lot of the times by women. So we have the Aba Women's War, we have the War of the Egbas, where the women they actually got a sitting king because he was championing on their human rights. So this is not about some Western people came and Africans are human beings too.
Yes,
So we deserve to have our right. So I do have an obligation to call the attention of the authorities and also raise those issues with human rights organizations, of course Amnesty being one of them. And so it's very important that we as members understand our role. We're sort of like evangelists for justice.
Yes.
Let me put it that way. And so in the same way we go around proselytizing about our faith, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian or you are an Ifa worshipper or whatever, that's the same way, because all of these faiths, they touch on justice. They're built on the concept of treating each other with compassion, with rightness, with justice. So in the same way we proselytize those faiths or talk about our various beliefs and all that, this is one of them.
Yes.
Respect for human rights, and it's very, very important that we go out there and we take the message and we educate people about what Amnesty is really about.
I think we pretty much know what Amnesty is about now, thanks to Miss Ier. It was amazing speaking to you, and I know we all loved hearing you. Thank you. It was an honor to have you here with us.
It's an honor to speak with you, and we're so glad that this day is here.
Thank you.